Having $1 million in your bank account isn't the source of all happiness, and it isn't the only way to retire comfortably. Some myth has suggested that people need at least $1 million to retire in comfort. For most people, $1 million is unattainable, but every retiree is different. One person's dream retirement might be floating around in their little boat fishing. For someone else, it might be extravagant vacations and dining out. A comfortable retirement will look different for everyone. Not everyone wants a lavish, expensive retirement. I certainly don't. TV commercials show retirees boarding cruise ships and doing other expensive activities. But what if you're more of a homebody and would rather garden, hike, read, or maybe have friends over for coffee? What if you don't have anywhere near $1 million saved? Can you still retire? I did. If this is your first time seeing me, I retired in June 2024 with just under $500,000. People with modest retirement savings can still retire. Even if your portfolio is way below $1 million, you still have options to retire comfortably. It's good to set goals for your retirement savings. But there's a misconception that the only way to retire is to become a millionaire. If you Google how much money do you need to retire comfortably, the most common answer would be $1 million or more. The first thing that pops up here says $1.46 million. Most retirees have much less than $1 million saved. I would have never been able to retire if I needed $1 million. But maybe you'll have Social Security, a paid-off home, you'll be debt-free, and maybe you live in an area where the cost of living is lower. The cost of living totally depends on where you live. People living in California, Hawaii, or New York will be at a big disadvantage because the cost of living is so much more expensive there. But if you live in, say, Utah, Tennessee, or Nevada, you'll be at an advantage because the cost of living is much lower there. Some retirees decide to move to a lower cost location or even another country because the cost of living is lower there. There's lots of YouTube channels about that. All of these things are going to influence the amount of savings you need to have. Most people really don't need $1 million to retire. There are many lifestyle choices you can make that won't drain your savings account. Many people's household expenses go down considerably by the time they retire. People tend to spend less money as they get older. Your future might be more frugal than you think. Social Security provides an average of $23,000 per individual of retirement income. Here's a chart I really like from an article called "You Don't Have to Be a Millionaire to Retire, Here's Why." It was written by Ben Gran. It was from a division of the Motley Fool, and I really like them. I'll link the article below in case you're interested. It shows how much income you'd have in retirement if you use the 4% rule and had the average Social Security income. So if you had just a $200,000 nest egg, you'd withdraw $8,000 annually. Add that to the average Social Security amount, and you'd have $31,000 if you're single and $54,000 if you're married. If you had $500,000 in your portfolio, you'd withdraw $20,000 annually. Add that to the average Social Security amount, and you'd have $43,000 if you were single and $66,000 if you were married. If you had a $750,000 nest egg, you'd withdraw $30,000 annually. Add that to the average Social Security amount, and you'd have $53,000 annually if you were single and $76,000 if you were married. And it goes on and on. Obviously, this is generalizing your Social Security amount, but it is interesting to look at. Not having $1 million nest egg is not necessarily cause for panic or a reason to think you can't retire. Retiring on Social Security alone might not be ideal, but people do it. 14% of older Americans rely on Social Security for 90% or more of their household income. There's even some YouTube channels about this. Buzz's Retirement Garage is a great one. He's living on Social Security alone and showing that it can be done. We've all heard that Social Security is going to undergo some kind of reform. Current Social Security is expected to run a shortfall as early as 2035 without any changes. Changes will have to be made. Maybe they'll increase the age for people to be eligible to claim benefits. Maybe they'll reduce the benefit payouts, or maybe they'll change the way they tax current workers. It could also be a combination of these. To be conservative, I'm planning on 75% of my projected Social Security income. If it ends up being more, then bonus. Retirees reduce their spending as they age. Older retirees travel less, eat less, and spend less on their children. This makes their retirement savings last longer. Medical costs will rise, but Medicare and insurance will cover a lot of that. While you may need to purchase additional coverage, Medicare premiums are reasonable. You might even pay less for health insurance during retirement than you did during your working years. If you exercise, eat right, and stay healthy, it can help you avoid those large out-of-pocket expenses during retirement. Planning for healthcare in retirement is so important. I have a couple videos about this that I'll link below in case you're interested. No two retirements are alike. Some retirees are still making mortgage payments or supporting family. Others don't have any dependents or debt. Your monthly bills might be lower in retirement. What if you could pay off your mortgage by the time you retire? What if you downsize and move to a smaller home with lower utility bills? Maybe you'll move to a neighborhood where you don't need a car. There are so many options. Most Americans retire with nowhere near $1 million in their savings. It's really important to figure out what number works for you. And that's not going to be a number that you read about. Retirement is personal, and the exact amount of money you need will depend on your lifestyle and your personal situation. There's no one magic number. I have a video about how to figure out exactly how much you need for retirement. I'll link that below in case you're interested. There isn't a one-size-fits-all amount of money needed to retire on. You have to put in the time tracking, calculating, and planning to figure out your own personal retirement number. Once you figure out a solid target retirement number, you'll be motivated to save. According to my research, only 3.2% of retirees have $1 million or more in their account. 3%. Saving $1 million for retirement is a challenging goal that few people manage to accomplish. You really don't have to be a millionaire to retire. Retirement is an achievable goal if you stay committed to careful financial planning. Start now, stay focused, and remain dedicated to your goals. You'll be well on your way to achieving your retirement dreams, even without $1 million. If you're new to my channel, hi, I'm Julie and this channel's Happy on Monday. Thanks for joining me. If you found this helpful, please like. And if you're interested in retiring early, consider subscribing. I'm going to leave you with a quote. Don't let what you cannot do interfere with what you can do. Hope to see you again soon.